Hello, hello. Welcome to the Wild Pursuit podcast on this fine Tuesday evening. Today we're going to have Justin Norton on the podcast, and he's a accomplished angler from the southeast Oklahoma area who's been fishing some of the Slay Nation events and currently placed second in the last Slay Nation event with big bass. And last week or week before last, I believe he got third place in the TTO Yak um, Tulsa Tackle and Outdoors TTO events. Yeah, the Yak Pot series. Excuse me, I'm kind of fumbling here with my words. Anyway, as soon as Justin gets on, uh, pulls up into the back room, we'll bring him on. But we're just going to talk about a little bit of everything today. Gonna maybe mention some sponsors, give some shout outs, and see what's going on. If you got any questions or comments, be sure and post a comment. We'd love to get your input and happy to answer any questions you might have. So without any further ado, we got Justin waiting on us. Let's bring him on. Hey Justin, how you doing today?
What's going on, Kenneth? How you doing, man?
Oh, not too bad. Is that which is that the new feel free in the background or what you're
Yeah,
running there?
yeah. That's the new Dorado. It's the new 48 volt system. I think this is the first. I think I have the first blue gray Dorado out, so it's a pretty cool boat.
Oh wow, that's good. That's a nice boat.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it so far, man. It's nice to be able to stand up and not worry about like where you are on the boat as far as positioning and stability and all that. So it's been good so far.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So how's your season going? I see you're off to a good start with got a top three finish at the TTO Yakpot events, and then come in second with Big Bass at the first. Was that the first Slay Nation event of the year?
Yeah, that was the first one.
Good. You want to talk a little bit about that? How do you what led to catching that big bass and
So,
getting you a little
man,
check right there?
it was kind of funny. So that was on Chimney Rock, which I haven't been on that lake in probably 10 to 13 years. It's been a while since I've been out there, out that way. So before the TTO tournament, I went out there just to kind of relook at the lake. Um, didn't really catch a whole lot of fish. They weren't being very bitey. Of course, it was pretty cold the day I went back to free fish. Shoot, the last two tournaments out there have been pretty cold, but I just kind of scanned around, didn't get a whole lot of bites. Went to the TTO tournament and I fished it just because I wanted.
Oh, we lost Justin there for a moment.
Did that just mess? Am I good?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can see you now.
Sorry, somebody tried to call. I guess it messed up everything. So I fished that TTO just to kind of get some more practice, and finally started really catching some fish, scoping some fish. I found a good little group of them that I kind of stayed on with the scope, and that's kind of how I've caught all my fish lately is with the scope. Um, that TTO tournament, 9:30 a.m. hit, and every single fish on the lake. It's like they sent out a memo. They're like, go to the bottom and don't do anything, and that's what they all did. So when they did that, I picked up a rage crawl on a little swing head, a 3/8 ounce swing head, and just started dragging along the bottom and picked up uh, another keeper to be able to finish that tournament where I did. So
Well, that's good. So after that 9:30 bite, they pretty much shut off.
they did, man. It's wild how much we've learned from live scope. Because without having that, I mean, I don't think I would have ever known that every fish just went to the bottom, and that's what they were doing. I mean, they were just snaking the bottom, you know.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing to be able to see that and learn. People think you go out and just catch every fish if you have live scope, and I can attest that is not the truth.
Yeah. If anything, you can eliminate some cast by at least not knowing if you're
Yeah,
casting at some fish or not half the time. But
yeah. I've told a lot of people live scope to let you know how bad you really suck because you'll throw at so many fish that just won't eat anything.
yeah, Yeah. Yeah. Just because you can see them doesn't mean you can catch them.
Exactly. Yeah.
What live scope are you running? Are you running the live scope plus the LVS 34? Or are you on the LVS 32?
Yeah. Yeah. So I've got the 106 SV, the new one, the two, and then the LVS 34, the Live Scope Plus.
How you like that 106 SV?
Man, I love it. On this boat, I have it paired up with a beat down flex mount, which is really made for bass boats, you know. But I was trying to find something. I wanted to get away from the captain's bar, which is what I had on my lure, just because it takes up so much space. You know, it takes up a lot of deck space. So I wanted to find something that was one, adjustable, and two, something that would really be out of my way. And that beat down flex where I have it mounted, I'm able to, if I want to stand up, I can unscrew a knob and lift it up and bring it up some, and I'm able to still have a good view. And then I can bring it down all the way to the deck if I want to.
Kind of froze up there for a second, Justin. So anyway, he's talking about the beat down mount, and my question. So my question for you, Justin, if you can hear me, just kind of freezing up there for a second. Well, so when you're sitting down, can you take that beat down mount and loosen off and kind of pull it to you like a telescopic steer wheel?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can bring it to you. It's that mount is fully adjustable to pretty much do whatever you want to do with it. So
Oh, okay.
I definitely recommend it for kayak. I'm not affiliated with them in any type of way. I just really like the mounts, and it's worked out really well. So
Well, that's good. That's good. So you said you was using a rage crawl on that. Was that just the yak pot that you was catching them on, or how about the slanation event?
um, yeah, the yak pot's the only thing I really, which the yak pot's the only thing I really use the rage crawl. Like I said,
Mhm.
whenever it hit about 9:30 a.m., they went to the bottom, so I just started dragging that. So that's the Strike King structure head. I'm not sure if you're able to see that or not, which most people know what that is, you know.
Yeah, a
And that
swing
thing
head,
on
or
the
yeah,
yeah,
or also referred to as like a biffle head.
yeah. So on the bottom, man, I love this thing. I've caught so many fish everywhere I've gone on this bait. And a lot of people, I feel like fish this bait wrong whenever they put the swing head on. They'll still want to kind of, you know, pop their rod like they're fishing a Texas rig. And what I do with it instead, I'll kind of just slow reel it, and every once in a while just kind of drag it. So I'm really, whenever you do that with this head, and you're just swimming it and dragging it along the bottom and maintaining that contact with the bottom, it's really making that crawl kind of move back and forth. So it looks super natural to the fish, I feel like. And I've caught a lot of fish doing it that way.
I see. I see. Now, on your, where do you order your tackle from mainly, or do you buy it local?
Um, man, everywhere really. You know, if I'm running low on something, I'll try to go local here in McAllister. We've got HL Sports Shop. It's a great place that has baits. Um, I'll order a lot off Tackle Warehouse, of course, direct from Striking. I'm a Striking guy, so
Yeah.
get a lot of stuff coming, a lot of Striking packages coming in that my wife's not too happy about. But got to keep those baits.
Yeah. Yeah. There, you can't never have enough fishing tackle.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'd say probably here lately. Speaking of tackle, my this has kind of been being a scoper. You know, that's been my that little guy right there has been my go-to. Which I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to show this yet or not. So that's a 1/8 ounce owner jig head. I forget what they call it, just their ball head, I guess. But that little minnow that I'm using is the new mock, um, which is a new little bait by Lose, which is called their mock schooler. And this thing has been on live scope has been phenomenal. Because that tail on this, you know, and there's a lot of little minnows that do the same thing, but that little tail just really, I mean, I'm holding this bait still right now, and you can see that thing moving. So it's the
Yeah.
back section of it's ribbed, which I really like. Then you have that forked tail, which is real similar to some of the other minnow baits that really just sits there and wiggles, you know.
Yeah. Enables you to get the most
So
movement out of the least, most action out of the least amount of movement.
Yeah. And actually that big smallmouth, that's what it came off of, was that minnow for the Slay Nation event. So
Yeah. Well, that's good. Sounds like everything's going your way this year. What size? So your feel free, is that a motorized kayak?
yeah, so it's got the pedal system, then it has an overdrive, what they call the overdrive motor that drops into the pedal system, which you can disengage just by pushing two tabs and kind of pulling it out. And then to re-engage it, you just push it right back in. It's good to go and press your button and take off. So it's
Oh,
it's
okay.
been a learning curve for me because on my lure I had the XI3, which is what I fished out of the last couple of years. And they're working on a bow mount for the Dorado, which I'm patiently waiting on because I really like having the XI3 for fishability. Um, but that overdrive motor is super nice for getting around the lake, and it's pretty quick too.
That's good. That's good to hear. I've heard a lot of good things about the feel free kayaks and the some of the new technology that they're putting in.
Yeah, and I've got nothing but good things to say about it. I don't really have any complaints. You know, it's pre-wired, pre-lit, probably the most stable kayak that I've ever been in. You know, as far as space, the seat, I mean, everything's just it's a great boat.
Yeah. So when is the next Slay Nation event taking place?
That is on Kanawha, I believe April 13th is the next Slay Nation event. So, which
Do they?
I think so Slay Nation is actually a team event, but I fished the last one solo. Which I think I was the only solo guy that was fishing against the teams. Because you have the option if you're a solo to fish against other solo guys in Slay Nation or fish against the teams. So I chose to be solo and fish against the teams that first tournament.
Okay. So you can go in there and you can fish. I wasn't aware that you could fish either or. I thought you
Yeah,
maybe had to have a teammate to fish on the team side.
nope, not at all. But actually, you know, Tyler Facino, he's
Uh huh.
actually going to fish the next few with me. As he just had a baby not too long ago, so I think his kids. He had a little boy. It's 3 months now, so
Well,
he's going to start jumping
congratulations
in a
to
few.
Tyler.
Yeah, he actually just got a Dorado as well. So I was joking around. I'm like, we're going to be the Dorado bros out there. It'd be pretty cool.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're winning money.
Heck yeah, man. We're going to try to. We don't always win, but we always have fun. So I think that's the main thing. As long as you're out having fun and at least trying to do something, you know, that's the most important part.
Yeah. Yeah. So you seem to be doing pretty good this time of year. Kind of year round, you do seem to do well. Can you give the viewers kind of your take on your favorite top three baits to throw for the month of March in Oklahoma?
For the month of for the month of March, now are we talking non-live scope, live scope? Does it
Let's
matter?
do three. Let's do three non-live scope and three live scope baits.
Okay. So live scope, of
And
course,
it
is going to be
and
it's
if
going
they
to be the
overlap, that's
minnow.
fine.
You know? Yeah. So with live scope, definitely that little finesse minnow with a 1/8 ounce head. And I like a smaller hook on mine. I like to go for like a 1/0 max 2/0. I know a lot of guys like to throw a 3/0 on there, but I prefer the smaller hook personally. To back that up, a jerk bait, which this one has been doing really well for me. That's the Strike King, their deeper diver jerk bait. Forget the exact color on this one, but I really like it. It's got a chartreuse belly, but it's clear and then a darker back. So in the water, it's got that real natural shad look. You know, that chartreuse kind of gives it a little bit of a like, here I am, come get me. But
Yeah.
I've done really well on this jerk bait. Even though it's kind of clear, I've done well even in some dirtier water. So it's been a good bait for me.
Yeah.
Um,
Now is that the 110
and
size?
yeah, yeah. So, but like I said, I like the deeper bill. You know, just to get it down there a little bit further if I need to. But also, if you want to work it a little bit shallower, you still can just by throwing it out and just kind of easily moving it along. You know, you don't have to grind it down and then start jerking as hard as you can.
Yeah.
And then I back that up, of course, with the swing head. I mean, that thing stays. This bait pretty much stays tight on a rod all year long. For me personally, I can, like I said, I can take that bait anywhere and catch fish on it. And the rage craw paired with it is like the best thing that I've ever found to catch bass on. So that's
Yeah.
actually, I
Now
took my
that's
boys
that's
out the other day. Go
go
ahead.
ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, I took my boys out fishing the other day. They wanted to go. So I just tied them both on one of those and shoot. Each of them had like 4 fish to my one when I was over live scoping. So it just shows you don't always need live scope to catch fish. You can time a swing head and the rage craw and go catch them just as good.
Yeah, that's what I was fixing to say was that's a good crossover bait. It works well for live scope or without live scope. That's just a good bait to use.
Yeah. And then this time of year also, I really, really like throwing a shaky head. It's probably one of my favorite baits to throw around rocks and stuff like that.
Yeah. Now, do you look for like a 6 inch like a robo worm to throw on your shaky head, or what's your
Man,
favorite baits to throw on a shaky head?
so I got something kind of sneaky there. I don't really throw your traditional finesse worms a whole lot on my shaky head. I like throwing just a Cinco, a green pumpkin or black and blue Cinco on a shaky head. Has been my go-to for quite a few years, and it's caught me a lot of fish doing it that way.
Yeah, it seems like the such a simple bait, no matter how it's rigged, catches fish.
Yeah.
That Stinko
Oh
is
man, anywhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you
Wait,
got if
weightless.
you have if you only got a hook and $5, go get a bag of Cincos, and you're going to catch some
That's
fish.
yeah. It's what I tell everybody's like. I have a lot of kids that ask me like, what bait should I go pick up? I'm like, just a 4/0 wide gap hook and a bag of green pumpkin Cincos or black and blue Cincos, and you'll usually catch fish wherever you are.
Yeah, yeah, they seem to always work under just about any condition.
Yep.
So, any other baits that you like to throw this time of year? Crankbaits or glide baits or swim baits?
Man, I do like a big glide. It's one of those things I don't talk about a whole lot. I feel like a lot of people around here don't. I feel like it's you hear about the California guys or Texas guys, but you don't hear a whole lot of Oklahoma guys throwing big glides. But it's really I think it's really came along in Oklahoma the last few years. There's a lot of great ones that I like to throw. Um, the classic they just released. I think Spro had that custom color that they released for Grand Lake. It's kind of like a sexy shadow. It's pretty cool looking color. That's on the Spro KGB glide, which I really like. It's a good glide bait.
Yeah, that KGB glide is really well. It's really well made, really put together. They did a lot of research and testing with that one to match as close as they could with the original
Yeah,
glass KGBs. But they or the resin KGBs, but they ended up matching it pretty close.
yeah. And I mean, I'm throwing the KGB Legends. I've got more glide baits than what I probably need to talk about. Starts making you sick whenever you add up the money on those things. But
Yeah,
lost a few of them
yeah,
too that were up there in price. But
yeah. When I bought my first big glide bait, I didn't throw it for about 6 months. I was too afraid I was going to lose it. They're
yeah,
so expensive.
yeah. There's actually a guy out of Muskogee called Versatile Baits. I don't know if you've heard of him or
Uh-uh.
not. He makes a really nice glide, and I've caught a lot of fish lately off the bit. And it's just a 6-inch shad profile, which I think I have one if you want to see it.
Yeah, sure.
I think I've got it right here in a little junk drawer. Of course, the hooks are stuck into like everything right now.
glide baits, crankbaits, they're all like extension cords. They get hung up on everything.
Oh yeah. So that's that's his glide.
Oh, okay. That's got a nice profile.
Yeah. So I've been doing really well with this one. Um, just kind of playing around. I haven't thrown it in a tournament yet. Out of the two tournaments I've had, I haven't thrown it. Just because the fish have been super finicky. Like that,
Yeah.
the Slay Nation event, there was times that Demiki would hit the water and the fish would go straight to the bottom and just want nothing to do with it. It's such a small profile, it's just, it's that time of year. They're kind of in a weird transition at times and they can be super finicky.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the guy that makes those versatile baits there in Muskogee, does he have a Facebook page or website?
Yeah, he's got a Facebook and a website. I believe his name is Eric. Can't, can't think of his last name, but if you look up Versatile Baits, they'll pop up. That's the VG2. He's got a few really good colors. I feel like, and I think they retail around 150, so it's not terrible. I mean, for
Yeah.
a glide bait for a good one. So
Yeah. That's right in the ballpark for a good quality one that you don't want to lose.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Shoot,
But if they
I don't
catch
want
fish,
I don't want.
they're worth it.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I don't even want to lose $60 ones, let alone 150 to $800.
I know. I know how it is. I know how it is. I can remember throwing a fit if I'd lose a $13 mega bass, jerk bait,
Yeah,
and now they all cost 13. Everything the cheap ones are $13 now.
yeah. Well, the mega basses now are like 25.
Yeah, yeah. The prices just keep going up.
Yeah,
Robbie Anderson said Needham is his last name.
yeah. Eric Needham, that's it. Yeah, he makes
Yeah,
really good baits, man. And what I really like about him is every single bait, every single one that he pulls, he'll go and personally test the action on it. And if there's something even a little bit off, he'll just chunk it. So
yeah.
that's super cool.
That's good. That's good. There's a gentleman Wilburton that makes baits too. I can't think of his name right offhand, but I'm on his Facebook page, and he does a lot of hand poured baits, and they're beautiful baits, really nice. He's got a store on Etsy, and wish I could remember his name. Robbie will probably have to jump back up on here and let us know his name. But yeah,
Yeah,
if you get a chance, get on Etsy and check this
Robbie,
guy out. It's
Robbie
go ahead.
probably knows everybody over in that area that makes baits. So
Yeah,
he's
here he is.
he's he's the he's the
Bobby
king of
Catcher.
Wilson. Bobby Catcher.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Last Swim Custom Baits is the name of his
Yeah.
the name of the company.
Yeah, that guy has really good paint jobs too. I think he custom does all of his paint jobs and everything. His stuff looks pretty good. So
Yeah, he's a pretty talented guy. I'd like to get him on here to talk about some of them baits he does, because man, he does a good job, and he's really good with mixing good colors. So
yeah,
I've definitely decided if I needed some custom stuff done, I was going to reach out to that guy.
yeah.
But yeah,
I've got
you
a
got
I've
there.
got a
He's
few
got a.
baits.
Go ahead.
I've got a few baits that I need to get painted as well. So if you get his contact, shoot it over to me. So
All
I
right,
got
I
some
sure
stuff.
will. Yeah, I got a box full of crankbaits that needs new paint jobs.
Yeah, same here. A few glides
Yeah,
too.
yeah, you could probably paint everything I have 5 different colors, and that'd just do me good.
Just open up the box and just start spray painting.
Yeah, yeah, yep. So you want to talk a little bit about your sponsors? We've seen that you recently picked up Lose, or is approached
Yeah,
after
man.
Lose now.
I was with Quantum. I've been with Quantum for years. I used to fish before the kayak days. I fished the bass boat tournaments. I was in Skeeter, um, FLW, stuff like that back in the day. And then my life kind of changed. Got a new career, got married, so that kind of took a back seat at that time. I was working weekends. So fishing got kind of put aside other than just going out and playing for fun. And then I think it was 2019, 2020, somewhere right before COVID, I kind of started getting into the kayak stuff. Just because I wanted to go out and, of course, get on the water. I'm a fisherman. I've been my whole life. So I got a crappy kayak that I hated. Um, Fished out of it for a few months, and then realized that was something I liked, and I got my first feel free. So, which that was the feel free Moken, and then eventually went to the Laird, got feel free pro staff. And that's kind of history there. And then, of course, this weekend working the classic for striking. So I've been on with them as well, about the same amount of time I've been on with Quantum. And Quantum is kind of going a different direction as far as what they're doing. They're not by any means stopping to make reels or rods and stuff like that. They're just kind of doing something different. So they're like, hey, we'd really like for you to go to Lose if you're okay with that. So, and I got the chance to hang out with Tom Brubaker, the owner of Lose, and some of those guys, and they're all just super cool. And I was like, absolutely, man, I'm down to help where I can. So it was a good classic. Picked up new sponsors, and something else new that kind of just came along. I actually just picked up Yak Attack. So
That's good news.
yeah. So I'm excited to work with them. Actually, just they sent me out one of their new short stacks to add to the Black Pack, which is super cool. If you guys haven't seen the short stack or don't have one yet, you should definitely go get one. Because I'm a guy that likes to just pile as much crap as I can, and that's super nice for because I got my tackle boxes in my Black Pack, but I'd find myself putting like a scale or even like buying a sandwich at QT and just throwing it on top of my tackle, and to be able to have that top part, it's nice to have it up there, just throw whatever in. So
Yeah.
if you guys don't have one, definitely go get one.
Yeah. Can't never have enough storage on these kayaks.
No. Especially after coming out of bass boats, man, it hurt. So
Yeah.
I'm
Of course, when you're
on
on
20 and all kinds of stuff, and now I'm limited to. Which the Dorado is cool because it's got 4 built-in rod holders, and then I've got 8 on my Black Pack, so I've got plenty of rod storage now. But
That's good. That's good. Yeah, Lose is I'm not sponsored by anyone, but I've always been a huge Lose supporter. They to me they make the best reels in the businesses, and I just after I bought my first Lose reel, I've just never looked back. I've never found another reel that even competes with them as far as quality goes. Smooth casting. Um, they feel it's unbelievable how smooth a loose spinning reel or a casting reel is compared to any other reel. Once you get another reel in your hand, you can feel the bearings. You can feel the bearings turning. To me, but a loose reel just feels like you're just turning air. There's nothing there. They're that smooth.
it's funny. So like I said, I was working the lose and striking booth at the Classic, and a guy came over and was kind of hanging out with us, and he had a Quantum, an older Quantum Accurist, and I guess there was somebody at the Classic, I forgot the company name, but they were replacing like bearings with some better bearings, like real grips, stuff like that. And they had some really cool stuff. So that guy had his Accurist serviced with all new bearings, lubed up and everything right there on the spot, and brought it over to the booth and was like, check this out. So I think that Quantum Accurist reel, I think retail on it was around probably somewhere from 100 to 120. The guy spent $85 on bearings, plus whatever he spent on the service. Then I showed him one of our Lus that are retails for $89.99 with 8-ball bearings, and it was smoother than the reel he just had new bearings put in service for. He's $200 into a Quantum Accurist.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, in my opinion, Lose leads the leads the charge on the best reels on the market.
Yeah, they're super nice too. I mean, there's some good reels out there, but I think lose some of the new stuff that they're doing, some stuff you're going to see in the next year is going to be it's going to be super nice, and their price points is really because even though I'm on staff, I don't want to go promote a reel that's $500 and as a kayak fisherman, it just doesn't make sense to me to promote a $500 reel to where a lot of guys that's what their boat costs in the kayak world, So I'm running the customs, um, and I really like them. They retail for I think retail on them's like 179. Super nice reel to do. I think anything you need it to do. So
Yeah. Yeah. Now, are you running any of the rods?
no, not yet anyway, because I'm still sponsored by Phoenix Rods. So I'm still running Phoenix rods right now. I'm sure I'll probably throw in some lues just to have, but for the main part, all my rods are still Phoenix rods right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I have not tried any of the Phoenix rods.
And they're super nice. It for me, like I felt a lot of lues rods over the weekend. They're super nice rods. The prices are great. Everything they've done to them is phenomenal. For me, the Phoenix rods are probably the best rods on the planet.
Now, is that someone that local that you can get them from, or how do you get your hands on them?
Unfortunately, not. Tackle Warehouse does carry them, and they were just running a big sale on them here not too long ago. I don't know if they still are, but you can get an M1 for around 180. And it's a really good rod. They've got the feather lights. Won't really get into the K2s. I've got a couple of those, but that's a $500 rod. You know,
Yeah.
but their their feather light series is probably my favorite rod, and retail on those is right around 179. It's a really good rod.
Now, when you fished, let's going back to Chimney Rock this past weekend, where you got the big bass and second on in the Slay Nation event. Had the water temperature come up very much from the weekend prior at the Yak Pot Series?
No, not really. The water temp stayed about the same, um, because we had a cold front that came through, but then we had another. It warmed back up the next few days, so it was about the same as what it was at the Yak Pot. I think it was floating right around that 57, 58, right around there.
Oh, okay. Now, is the lake? And how about the lake level? Is it still about the same, or are they filling the lake right now?
Not that I've seen it. As far as water levels and everything, it all looked the same to me. Um,
Yeah.
Fish were just being super weird. There was a lot of guys that tournament that only caught one fish. I think there was a few that didn't catch any, and they were. It was definitely a tough event. I can't say that I went out and just whacked them because I didn't. I caught 6 fish that whole day. I just luckily caught into a couple of the right ones.
Robbie Anderson wants to know if it's too late to talk about Eufaula.
It's never too late to talk about Eufaula. I'm actually going to go. I'm actually going to be there for the OKA event. I'm going to go jackpot it and fish that just because it's my home lake. I feel like I kind of have to. So
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good. Yeah, we're hoping for a good turnout there. It seems like 2 or 3 years ago, the Oklahoma kayak anglers fished it, and there was over 100 entries.
oh
So
my
that was 100 anglers fished it. So that'd be pretty good.
yeah,
The more, the merrier.
yeah, man, I love Eufaula. It's people ask me all the time what my because fishing the bigger tournaments in the past, I've been all over the world fishing, and Eufaula is probably one of my favorite lakes in the world to fish. So
Yeah,
definitely looking forward to it.
yeah. Is there a certain area of the lake that you like the best?
We'll talk about that after the event. There's a lot of stuff. But what I really like on Eufaula is it's so diverse. I mean, there's parts of that lake that you can go find some grass. You can fish rock, you can fish standing timber. So it really adapts you can adapt till you follow to fish how you want to fish. And it's such a big lake, it can be kind of hard to figure out. But once you do, man, it's such a good lake.
Yeah. When you break how I look at you follow lake, when you break it down, you gotta split it up like you're breaking down about five different lakes.
Yeah, pretty
Because
much.
there's been like there's about five huge sections, and you just got to kind of break each area up, and each area is productive, and it kind of offers something to every angler from muddy water all the way to semi clear water with a couple foot of visibility in some spots. But yeah, like you said, it offers everything: wood, rock. Um, I haven't found a whole lot of grass on it, although there is some. Especially with the lake being so low last year, there was a lot of vegetation that come up, and that's
Yeah.
still kind of thriving. And the lake's been a little bit low this year, so with the rains that we've been getting, it may come up a little bit. And if it does, and continues to warm, it's going to be a slugfest, I believe. This April, let's see here, April the 6th, I believe it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
Saturday, April the 6th.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, man. Which kind of sucks. I'm not going to be able to go free fish it at all or anything, but it's, you know, it's one of those lakes I feel like I've got a few spots that are usually pretty good. So
Yeah. Now your next Slay Nation event is on Carnival. When is that?
it's April 13th.
So it's the following weekend.
Hmm. Which I
Yeah.
was, I was kind of in a pickle because my original plan was to go fish the Bassmaster Kayak Series on Possum Kingdom. Um, I had kind of planned for that. So I've kind of put that to the side. I'm going to stay with Slay Nation this year. And then I think next year I'm going to fish out the full kayak series schedule. So,
Yeah. That's what I'd like to do next year, if possible, is fish out the at least fish enough events to make it a run for Angler of the Year.
yeah, man, it's, I feel like it would be awesome, but it's definitely going to be some traveling and
Yeah.
some time and money to go do the full schedule. But it's something I really want to do. So I'm definitely going to commit to just doing that next year and running it and see what happens, win or lose.
Yeah. You only live once.
You only live once. Might as well
Yeah,
go
that's
fishing,
right.
huh?
Yeah, when you get too old to paddle, that's when you just get a motor. Or when if you're like me,
Oh,
you're tired of paddling for 6 miles and then being exhausted by the time you're there and it's lines in.
yeah. I'll tell you something funny. We've gotten so spoiled on these kayaks, as far as motors and everything that we have. I got this Dorado, and I've never really used a pedal system because I've always had the XI3 on the front. So I just sit back and I'll fish and use it and lock down if I need to. But having this pedal system now, my first day out with it, I had both of my legs were just cramping so bad that night. I was like, man, I've got to stretch and like get in better shape if I'm going to be pedaling this thing all over the place. So, but I think for positioning and like maneuverability when you're fishing, the pedals are the way to go. So you don't have to fiddle with the remote and all that stuff. So it's been
Yeah,
a learning curve, but so far I've been enjoying it.
yeah, yeah. I'll eventually get a motor for my kayak, and live scope. I'd like to have that both on my kayak. But yeah, for the motor is my two main uses I want a motor for is to either be able to set out on a windy area, and spot lock off of a point or something, or just be able to spot
Yeah,
lock in a windy area once I catch a fish, or just spot lock. Um, but that and to just get me to my spot. Once I get there,
yeah,
I like to just ease around with my pedals. Try to make as little noise as possible. Sometimes I won't even use my pedals. I'll just grab my paddle and just ease my paddle in the water and maneuver myself around. But if it's very windy, you don't get that option too much. Um, in
yeah.
Oklahoma, just
You're
about there's. Go ahead.
you're in a PA 14, right?
No, I'm in a Old Town Big Water 132.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I can remember what what boat you're in. It's a good looking boat you have though. I remember seeing it
Yeah,
last year.
it's a good boat, and it handles it. You know, the big water is a good name for it. It's a 132, but front to back is like 14 foot 8 inches long. So that's from the tip to tip, and it handles. I haven't been on any water that it hadn't handled nicely. No matter how big the waves get, it seems to be able to handle them pretty well. Now I did add the outriggers on the sides, just because the secondary stability isn't that great. But as far as taking on waves head on, it cuts through them. It handles them real well.
Yeah. See, I feel like this boat's kind of the reverse. Which I know, feel free, they did lift the bow of it on the new Dorados just to give you more as, as far as cutting action going straight into the waves. So, but I still feel like going straight in, that's probably its only flaw. You'll take a little bit of water over the bow if it's really, really choppy. But this boat, I can stand on the side of it and not have a care in the world.
Yeah, you can't do that with that 132. If you lean over too
Yeah,
far
there's
without them outriggers, you'll roll right over.
yeah, there's a lot of boats. My lure was the same way. You know, it's just as far as side to side, there's just not a whole lot of stability there. It's a great boat, but and you can stand up fine, but if you go to one side or the other, you better balance out pretty quick.
Yeah. Now, how's the price point on that? As far as the MSRP for that feel free Dorado, like you're setting in?
Man, I think, which I'm not in it. I'm just on a chair sitting in front of it, but I think it's retails $26.99 somewhere around there.
Wow, that's a good price. That's a real
Yeah,
competitive
and
price.
yeah, so that comes with your pedal drive, but it doesn't come with the motor. The motor is like a $1,300 add-on that drops into the pedal drive. So
Well, that's good. You can add on as you go without having to buy it all in one system. I think
yeah,
I've seen
and
a
like I
lot
said,
more kayaks are going that way nowadays. New Canoe, I believe, is offers that, and see, Native is starting to offer that on their new Titan X. Where you can order it partially rigged or fully rigged, or you can add on to it as you go.
yeah, which is as tournament anglers, that's what we need. But what I really like is most of these manufacturers, even like Native and Old Town, those guys, they have the cheaper boats. And Feel Free just came out with a Moken pedal, and I think it retails for under 1,000 with the pedal drive. So it's a super nice option to be able to have.
Yeah. Yeah, Josh Massey says Mach 1 lithium.
Hey, there you go. Josh is the man. That dude is a fisherman for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he's nonstop. He gets to do it every day. Kind of envious of that. He's always on the water, so he's always knows where they're at.
Yeah, yeah. We'll be there one day maybe.
Yeah.
I can just if I can win enough money in this kayak world to quit work and just fish every day, I'll be right there with him.
Yeah. Maybe one of these days it'll be there. It'll be there. I think as long as the sport keeps growing like it is, yeah, eventually one day the money will be there in sponsorships and stuff like
Man,
that.
it's so crazy. I would say in like 3 years, how far kayak fishing has came. Like, did you really hear about kayak fishing the way it is now 3 years ago?
No, I sure didn't. Whenever I got into probably, I don't know what year it was, probably 4 years ago, maybe, I started inquiring. I had heard that there was a group doing kayak tournaments, and I had to look around and to find it. And then once I found it, then I got into the world. And of course, once you, like anything else, once you get into that click, so to speak, then you hear of this one and this one and this one and this one. But there really wasn't a whole lot of advertising, to bring it to the public's awareness of how big the sport was getting or going to be.
Yeah, yeah, man. I started out in a Sin kayak, and that thing was like paddling a dang barge. No motor, hardly any storage. Um, and I'm not talking about like the newest Sins like there is now. It's probably better, but I'm talking about like this thing is like probably a 2014, maybe somewhere around there. A Sin. I mean, it was rough. It was rough fishing out of that thing compared to what we have now. So
Yeah, yeah. Back before there was really any pedal kayaks, those Ascend kayaks. The reason I stayed away from them in the beginning was the weight. They weighed double of what all the other
yeah,
kayaks weighed,
gosh,
and
yeah. I forgot all about that part. Unloading that thing out of the bed of my truck was a nightmare.
yeah, yeah. But they're tough. They were tough kayaks. You couldn't tear them up.
Yeah,
Well, I'm glad to get you on. Glad to get talking a little bit about some fishing, some your groups, and see what else
yeah, man.
Robbie's got to say here. Yeah. So I remember that one I wanted it bad and ended up with the Field and Stream Talon. I think you probably lucked out a little bit better going with that Field and Stream Talon. I looked at a few of those, and I don't
Yeah,
think they were near this heavy as that Ascend model.
man, that boat was so heavy, and they just didn't track. They didn't track right at all. That boat would go right or left so easy. I remember, and Tyler ended up getting one too. We Tyler and we've been friends a long time. He's fished with me out of the big boats. He's ran cameras for me and everything else before, but we both kind of started in the Ascend, and now we're both in the Dorado, so it's pretty cool.
That's good. That's good. Lifelong friendship.
Pretty much, man. Back in the day, there was a Warriors for Freedom tournament, and Tyler's a veteran, so and that's actually how I met him. We First time we went fishing was in a tournament, and I had pre-fished. It was on Eufaula, of course, and I had pre-fished for 4 days, which I didn't really even need to do because I knew where they were. But my plan for that first tournament, I was like, I want Tyler to catch all these fish. I don't want to catch them. I know I can catch them. So we pull up to the first dock, and at the time, this dude doesn't even own a bait cast reel to his name. He's got all spinning reels. His rods are like more crappie rods than bass rods. So we tied him up a bait, which was a Cinco, and there was some brush on the stalk. I'm like, Tyler, just cast up here. And Tyler's a big guy. I don't know if you remember him or not, but he's super built, just a big stocky dude. I'm like, throw up here. I'm like, there's fish on this dock. I was like, you're gonna get bit pretty quick. I'm like, but they're gonna go into this brush. If they do, just hang on because I can go up here. It's a Christmas tree on a rope. I can lift it up, and it's my buddy's dog. So I was like, so just hang on, don't force it or anything. So this dude immediately hooks up. This little bitty spin rod is bent all the way over, and Tyler's muscles are just flexing as hard as he can, and the line just snaps like immediately. I'm like, man, I was like, I told you, just hang on. He's like, dang it, dude. So that was Tyler's first like tournament experience with me. It was pretty funny.
And of course, any other good tournament experience, for good or bad, you're hooked.
He's been hooked ever since. Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, Justin, like I said, it was good to have you on, and I'm glad we got to talk about what you're catching your fish on and your favorite baits, and a little bit about your new kayak. It's a good looking kayak. Glad to see you're in it, doing well this year. Is there any shout outs you'd like to give or sponsors, anything like that you'd like to shout out to?
um, man, just all my sponsors. Striking, Lose, Feel Free, Yak Attack. And shout out to my wife for putting up with me doing all this stuff all the time. So I think that's probably my biggest shout out. It's gonna be my wife. So without her, there's no way I could do all this stuff and make it happen. She does a good job. I'll go to a tournament and pull the camper, and she'll pull the kayak on the trailer. So that's my biggest supporter and my buddy. So.
Well, shoot, yeah. Yeah, it's good to have that support at home. I know I couldn't do it without my wife either. So it makes a huge difference having that positive support always backing you up.
Yep.
So
great having me on, and I look forward to fishing against you guys some this year where I can, and having some laughs with you, and maybe a few beers too.
Shoot, yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. We look forward to seeing you next weekend up on Eufaula.
Heck yeah. Y'all have a great night, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
All right, that was Justin Norton, Oklahoma kayak angler with the that's with fishing for Slay Nation events, and going to fish some Oklahoma kayak angler events. No telling what other events you're liable to catch him on the water at. I appreciate everyone that come on the show and commented, and I can't thank you guys enough for joining the podcast and sharing it like you guys do. Liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel, to my Wild Pursuit, Kenneth's little Facebook page, and all the support really means a lot to me. So can't wait to see you guys again. We'll try to link up and do another podcast next week. So everybody stay tuned. Have a good weekend, and let's see what you catch this weekend. Peace.